Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. Thank you for clicking on this video. How you guys doing? We're almost at 100,000 subscribers. Can you believe it? I certainly can't. Either way, guys, we're going to start with some different content here on the channel. I want to start shining a spotlight on champions that just aren't used or talked about that much. And it all began last night. I was actually watching, for the first time, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Not a bad movie if you're into like 80s or 70s comedy. 80s? Jeez, my years are so off. That's awful. I think it's 80s. Anyway, pretty good movie. I'm maxing out Deathless, hoping that Deathless can give me any sort of utility for a champion guide. I don't want to do a champion guide and a champion that's absolute trash. And Deathless was very close.
Don't ever let somebody tell you you can't do something. People can't do something themselves. They want to tell you you can't do it.
This morning, I sat down to record my Deathless guide, and I gotta be honest with you, I scrapped the video. But later on today, though, now it's nighttime, later on today, I was like, wait a second here. Deathless does have a use, and boy was I able to come up with a team that I think a lot of you guys can use to farm food at the same time as artifacts from Dragon's Lair, especially on auto attack while you sleep using your auto battles from the raid pass, or even the 30 that you get without the raid pass. You can do this while you sleep while farming food. Or just leveling up champions and getting artifacts at the same time without having to have Tomb Lord or all the other Bad Alcazar, all the other OP legendaries for Dragon's Lair that can solo easily Dragon's Lair. So this is a viable alternative for you guys utilizing Deathless, Shieldguard, and a random healer, right? So let's go ahead and take a look at the builds really quickly here. Gonna make this hopefully a quicker video. So Deathless, oh man, Deathless, or oh woman Deathless. She is the grandmother of setups. Her kit is all about everybody being dead, right? On the A1, you place 3 debuffs, decrease defense, decrease speed, and decrease accuracy, but it scales depending on how many allies you have dead, okay? On the A2, Vile Insults hits pretty hard. Reflect damage and a provoke, it doesn't really match the rest or fit with the rest of her kit in my opinion. Grim Revenge is her big hard hitting ability. This has a 4 multiplier on it, and then it gets times multiplied by the number of dead allies that you have on the team. That's why this fits perfectly, the synergy between her and using food champions. So in the team that I'm going to show you, we're going to run Apothecary, Shieldguard, and Deathless. Apothecary into a negative affinity matchup. The team's going to have 100% success rate. We're going to have lifesteal gear on Deathless, lifesteal gear on Shieldguard. Apothecary will have relentless gear on, but you can just run anything basically on him. And the idea here is the 2 food champions died right away, so you're always going to be landing your decreased defense. So in other words, Deathless is going to be your debuffer, okay? You can also run this with Stag Knight in a lifesteal set as well, but I didn't want to include any epic champions other than Deathless on this team. So Grim Revenge deals a decent amount of damage. I'm not going to go overboard. It's not a Karma Burn, it's not a Seer damage, but it's enough, especially with Lifesteal, to keep her alive and help clear those waves. Okay, Masteries I have on her. I tried her out in the arena, man. I tried her everywhere. I tried to really stick this square peg of a champion into a round hole, and that round hole is called success, awesomeness, and it's just not on Deathless.
If you won't leave me, go ahead and go.
Anyway, guys, I went tier 6 here with Helm Smasher to help out a little bit more against the waves, which do take the majority of the time on these battles. But you can go with War Master as well. I tried War Master at first, but the runs were pretty similar in terms of the overall time and damage output, so go with what works for you. I will point out, though, not Kill Streak, Exalt in Death is or Wrath of the Slain, excuse me, guys. Wrath of the Slain is a great mastery for Deathless for obvious reasons. Increased damage inflicted by 5% for each dead ally, stacks up to 10%, so you get out the gate an additional 10% damage off of her A3. I also went Support Tree, help out extending the duration of some of her debuffs. Went with Evil Eye Mastery as well and some accuracy as well. So that is her kit. I built her out with Lifesteal gear. I have crit damage on the gauntlets. I have defense on percentage on the chest. Her damage is based on defense, and speed on the boots. I'm really only super concerned with getting a little bit of defense, a little bit of HP, trying to get that crit rate over 100. 100, so I'm slacking yet again. And 231 on the crit damage. 206 accuracy is fine because we're going to be facing Dragon 21, which is a recommendation with this team that I have for a lot of you guys. If you have God tier gear, or if you do have Tomb Lord that you want to kind of add into the mix, sure, you can solo Dragon 25, but Dragon 21 isn't bad in terms of energy efficiency. You get better artifacts than you do from Dragon 20 anyway. It's not the best, but it's not the worst, and it works with the affinity matchups, okay? So that's it for Deathless. In terms of Shieldguard, we have, again, lifesteal gear on Shieldguard. I'm not going to show you his entire kit. You guys probably already know it. Essentially, battle stance, right? Fills his champion's turn meter by 20% on each critical hit on a 2-turn cooldown. So he just keeps going and going and going. He's like the Energizer Bunny of DPS out of uncommon champions. We have crit damage on his gauntlets. We have defense percentage. His damage is also based on defense. And we have speed on his boots. We have crit damage on all of these champions' amulets. I should have mentioned we have defense on both of these champions' banners, Deathless and Shieldguard. And either defense or HP on the ring is just fine. In terms of masteries on Shieldguard, we went with tier 6 War Master, and we also went with Retribution on this champion. A nice chance to counterattack since he's not applying any debuffs. We don't care about the decreased speed on his A1 because at the end of the day, it's only a 15% decreased speed, A, and B, it doesn't even apply to the dragon. So we don't need to build him with any accuracy, although we do have a little bit on him anyway. On Apothecary, I'll show you just because we're using him. He is magic affinity, but he's there primarily, you know, he has Relentless set on. I only care about speed on him in terms of his stats, and he's there really to add the increased speed and the turn meter fill, right? That's about it. And his Soothing Chant on a 2-turn cooldown can keep himself healed, and you can run him as an aura lead, which is really important, right? Getting that extra defense to ensure your team stays alive. If any of these 3 champions are dying for you, well, just go ahead and build them with a little bit extra HP or defense. Sacrifice some of the DPS if you have to. So here we are, guys. We have Deathless, we have Shieldguard, we have Apothecary. I would run Apothecary in the lead, but we happen to be leveling up this food for the Fusion Odachi, who actually has a 25% defense aura in dungeons. Not bad for a rare, right? So run him as the aura lead instead. Doesn't matter if they die. We just want to make sure we're running them. Also, I will note that I don't have the AI fixed, or I should say set right now. So she's actually going to run or lead off with her A3. You'll see how little damage her A3 does, what, 10k damage. We could have put it on manual, but I'm just going to kind of show you it as it goes. Oh, there it is, my bad. 17k, that's the Grim Revenge. Now we have the 2 dead allies. Now we're cooking in terms of extra damage off of that A3. However, be prepared not to be incredibly impressed with the damage. We don't have any decreased defense or weaken up on any of the enemies. We're not going to have, keep in mind, she's the debuffer, right, on this team. That's why you can run Stagnite instead of Apothecary in Lifesteal, and you'll be even better suited. However, I will say that having the turn meter boost and the increased speed from Apothecary, even though it's a negative affinity matchup, is really, really helpful on this battle. So I've only tried it with Apothecary because I didn't have Lifesteal on Stagnite, and Apothecary really works well, honestly, guys. If you have a Spirit Affinity speed booster, I guess that would be preferable over Apothecary. But Apothecary works just fine, so I don't mind having him at all. It takes about, I don't know, 2.5 minutes or so to get through the waves, and then another 1.5 minutes or so against the dragon, so not too bad. It's about a 4-minute run, which isn't the end of the world, again, when you just have it on auto. And again, this is meant to give you guys an alternative if you don't have Bad L and Tomb Lord and Richtoff the Bold, and all these other like OP legendaries who can maybe not solo, I guess some of them can solo, right? But duo easily the dragon, right? But this will give you guys an option, you know, without having to have a bunch of champions if you want to invest in a champion like Deathless. Now, there's probably other champions other than Deathless that can get this done as well. Maybe even 2 shield guards, right? But then you're going to run into problems when you get to the dragon, because who's going to be applying the decreased defense? Not only decreased defense, but decreased accuracy and decreased speed as well. Decreased accuracy, I believe, takes 3 dead allies. So if Apothecary dies, we get decreased accuracy as well.
Death, where's that sting? I ain't afraid of death, bring it. Not right now, but you know.
Things are looking pretty good. Reflect damage, that's from the A2. Provoke in the reflect damage doesn't seem to fit her kit. The shame is she could be a cool champion, but she need a big rework, right? I mean, how do you guys think you can make her viable outside of a niche situation like this? She only works in this situation because, I mean, we have 2 guaranteed dead allies, right? I tried her in the arena on my first kind of guide that I made for you guys, and it wasn't pretty, man. It's just way too conditional. You have to count on the rest of your team dying and having decreased defense and weaken or either or against the enemies in order to set her up to nuke down the opponents. And even that, it's not a guarantee. But there she goes, landing the decreased defense off of the A1, as I said. So she's going to be our debuffer here. Really nice to have the debuff on the A1, right? I don't know if anybody's ever done a video like this before, but I kind of stumbled into it. I'm like, okay, is there any way, now that I've invested in this stupid champion, is there any way that I can use her in a video? So I found one. I found one for you guys. And I would encourage you guys as well to get creative. And I want to know from you guys, the big question I want to ask you guys is there any champion that, people never talk about, maybe some people say they suck, that you have, a use for? Kind of like this, right? Do you have a team that includes maybe a niche champion that you want to share with me and maybe I'll give it a try? Let me know in the comments below because I would love to invest. Another kind of weird champion is Kitus. Thinking about investing in him as well. So give me some weird kind of champions that you never hear any YouTuber, content creator, anybody ever mention. Maybe your clanmates. They never mention those. Those are the champions that I'm interested in. But you guys can see, like I told you, around a 4-minute and 30-second run, 4 minutes or so, and no one's dying, right? The team's nice and healthy. It was never even, in doubt, this battle, right? And keep in mind, we do have lifesteal on both of the other champions aside from Apothecary, right? But even with this power boost from the dragon, gee, it's making me think that maybe I can even have a go at stage 25. Want to have a go, guys?
No, thanks.
Let's have a go at stage 25. My fear is, though, is that AoE attack, if not the waves, will end up just wiping my entire team, I don't know. We'll give it a try, though, but I do think that this is going to be a niche team for farming food and artifacts in Dragon 21. That's a guarantee. You guys saw this. Granted, I do have pretty good gear on these champions, to be fair. Crit damage on both the gauntlets of my DPSers as well, so take that into consideration. Deathless puts out, oh, look at this, tied damage. Deathless out damages Shieldguard, which is saying a lot there, without War Master for the dragon. That's actually pretty decent. I mean, granted, an epic versus an uncommon, you guys might be saying, dude, what? What are you talking about? Who cares if she outdamaged him by a couple hundred damage or whatever? But really, Shieldguard, because he's proccing all those extra turns off of his A2, to me, it's pretty impressive that Deathless was able to outdamage. All right, speed with crit rate, we'll sell that one. Let's go ahead and try, and that was 4 minutes and 21 seconds. Not too bad. I hope one of you guys at least enjoyed the video. But or at least one of you guys tries the team out, though. So here we go. This is stage 25. I have a feeling we're just going to wipe right away because I don't think Apothecary can stay alive on the waves, let alone the dragon. But let's just try it out. I can't wait to read the comments on this one, right? I want to know if anybody's built Deathless, right? Does this justify to you guys building Deathless just for this? Just to farm up food? It's hard to say. Would a free-to-play build Deathless just for this use? Probably not, to be fair. What about a light spender? What if you spend like, $20 here, $20 there, but that's about it. And you just look at it as entertainment. Yeah, Apothecary goes down, and that was my fear. Now can we get to the dragon without Apothecary? We'll be hitting harder now in the A3 because there's one more dead ally. So let's see how hard she hits when she comes back around. But if you're mid to end game and maybe you don't have Tomb Lord, but you're looking to farm champions or to level up champions while you're farming artifacts, I think that you can make a case to invest in Deathless. She's easier to, book up and upgrade than a legendary champion, obviously. She's certainly not great. I'm not trying to sit here and sell you on Deathless being a game changer. But this is a roll for her. So she did around, what, from 30 to 50k damage or so off of the A3 with 3 dead allies. Nothing crazy. We only had decreased defense up on 2 champions. I saw way back in the day, I think Murder Inc. had a video, and it was something to the effect of who's the hardest hitting defense-based champion in the game, and she did some insane damage, but he really had to set it up. He had to make sure everybody was dead and weakened and decreased defense were on all the enemies. And like, when is that really going to happen in real life, right? I mean, it's hard enough getting everybody dead, but then having the debuff still on the enemies, because she can't put weaken on them, obviously. But hey, we made it through the first wave. Guys, I'm going to cut here. There's no reason for me to keep rambling on to you guys at this point. I'm going to cut here, and I'll let you know. I'll come back at you when we either wipe or beat the dragon, or at least we're at the dragon. Be right back. All right, so we wiped on the second wave. Hey, guys, that's going to do it for the video. I hope you enjoyed this little break from the norm. Deathless, again, out-damaging Shieldguard, just barely, just barely. All right, guys, check out these the text guides on these champions if you want to. I'll include the Ayumi Love link in the show notes below. Thank you for watching all the way to the end of the video. I appreciate you guys, and as always, take care, guys.